Welcome to D-Lab, everybody. At the bench today, we've got the ugly Johnson Viking II transmitter. This was delivered to me along with a case of Robert Mondavi cab wine. So I thought to myself, how can I turn down this job? I've been paid up front. So let's give it an initial inspection and see what we can do to get the ugly Viking back on the air. Alright, we'll start with the front panel. She is really rough, super rusty. Some of the control names are completely gone. So here's the good news. The guy that wants me to restore this plans to remove the front panel and send it out for a repaint and new silk screen. So no big deal. My job is to get it electronically working once again. Let's take a look in the top. Oh yeah, she's a beauty. We're missing the 5V4 rectifier. There are some little wires coming up here from Bottomside. Kind of interesting. Got a few cobwebs over there in the corner. This does have the added on keyer module that Johnson sold in the past. Okay. 6146s are there, but the plate caps are removed. One of the 5R4s is missing, but if you look down, you can see the Johnson stamp. So guess what? This is a factory built unit. Got a pair of 807s, and those plate caps are also removed. Okay, we will solve those mysteries later. Modulation transformers there. Roller inductor is turning freely. It's dirty, but I bet it won't take much to get this guy up and running again. Alright, bottom side inspection of the ugly Viking II transmitter. Yes, there's quite a few things missing right off the bat. Okay, in this area there should be one of these old ugly oil spewing capacitors. Okay, it's 1,000 volt 8 microfarad. This is a high voltage rectifier filter cap. Well, that's gone, and I'm not putting this one in. Okay, in this area there should be one of these big 20K adjustable resistors, and this is for your modulation bias adjustment. Okay, he's also MIA. In this area there should be a choke, and this is the low voltage choke that comes off of that missing rectifier tube that I showed you earlier. This choke, by the way, is good, so I will be installing it. All right. In this area where you see the line cord coming up, there should be a couple coils and a bakelite board that Johnson used to filter the input power. Also missing. I've got one of those somewhere too. Also see some evidence of components that have been maybe experimented or removed. I'm not sure. But all in all, she doesn't look too bad. This is alarming. These little loops of wire were supposed to be the current shunts for high voltage, and looks like somebody's been in there playing around. This does not look stock, so that could be a slight challenge. It also has the old crusty paper filter caps. They got to come out. Audio input section obviously has not been touched, which I would rather this transmitter had been in just that condition. It's always better to get in here in an untouched type situation where you're simply going through and updating and upgrading. In this case though, we are going to have to rebuild it from the ground up. Alright, my plan of attack is to initially repair the power supply of the Viking II, meaning I need to install a new filter choke, get the modulation resistor installed, and put in a new high voltage cap. But I'm not going to put in Mr. Carcinogen. I think that's the right way to say the word. So these old oil-filled caps are extremely dangerous. If they're not leaking and they work, you're cool. But when they start leaking, and if you get that oil on your hands, I guess it's pretty toxic, okay? And it's also a very bad thing if that oil leaks onto the chassis because it will corrode it. So that is not going back in the Viking II transmitter. But what is going to go in is one of my newest little gizmos that I have not introduced to the ham market yet, and that is my new cat board. Okay, so this little guy is also good for 1000 volts DC, and it is going to go in the original position of the old army tank cap. All right, so this guy does the same job. It has a little bit more capacitance, so it should give you a little smoother output signal. And it consists of 2 F&T filter caps and a couple 470K 2-watt resistors to balance out the load, since these 2 caps have to do the job of that big old oil-filled monster. So what the question is, that I've always wondered...
What's F&T stand for?
Well, yeah, that was kind of the question. Obviously, somebody in the background running the camera is reading my mind. F&T could be like French and toast. Yeah?
Favorite transmitter?
Fruit Toots. Right? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities here. Right? Yeah.
Formulated...
Oh, boy. Anyway, so now Marcia is wondering... what is F&T? What does that stand for? I'm sure that there's a real name, probably a German name, that we're not aware of, because we just sit back here, you drink beer, I drink wine, I work on this old crap, right?
Well, they must be something special, because you had me create special parts bins in Alfred just to maintain those caps. So they have to be something special.
They are special. And this is my primary cap that I use not only in ham transmitters but the guitar amps. I'm sold on these guys. You know, the price is right. I'm not paying the Mallory or Sprague prices, and they seem to hold up well. So what the question of the day is, guys, don't get on the web and tell me exactly what it stands for. Tell me what you think it should stand for. That should be a lot of fun. In the meantime, I'm going to rebuild the power supply, and we'll get back to you guys in part 2 of the ugly Johnson Viking restoration.